What's up, YouTube? So here, what do we have in front of us? We have here the armor Kraton, and to the right of it I have an armor Talion that I found on Craigslist, and it was just a steal at the price that they had it. So I said, you know what, why not? And my future plans with the Kraton are to upgrade all of the electronics, play around with the oil in the diffs for the front, center, and rear. I'm also gonna upgrade the springs and the shock oil on it, and that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna go too much into detail on what parts we're gonna be upgrading on this puppy, and that's gonna be for a later date. I'll have all the parts there and the parts number, and you'll see everything that I intend to put onto the Kraton. And as far as the Talion is concerned here, this roller, what I intend to do is take all of the electronics that I'm removing off the Kraton, slap them in here, and keep this relatively stock. The only thing that I am going to do to the Talion is, again, I'm going to play around with the diff oils, both front, center, and rear. And I'm also going to upgrade the springs and swap out the silicone shock oils on them. So I was debating on how am I going to go about this. Should I just go ahead here on the Kraton, remove all of the electronics and bring it over, and then what's here, just leave it here? Or again, I was brainstorming, and then I said to myself, you know what, the armor Kraton and the Talion are pretty much the same, with the only differences are the body, the wing, which is actually on the Talion is shorter from a width perspective than the Kraton. The Kraton is a little bit wider. Also, the hex adapters here are shorter than on the Kraton, and the CVDs or dog bones are shorter than the Kraton. And that this doesn't require the tower here to protect the body and not let it cave in. So in essence, if I were just to remove the front and the rear end from the Kraton, do the same here on the Talion, and just swap them over, basically I'm pretty much done. So I don't need to remove the motor, I don't need to remove the ESC, I don't need to mess around with the cable management and what have you. That's already pretty much neat and done off the factory, and I can call it a day. Because as far as the chassis is concerned, as far as the front and rear dog bones are concerned, and the tub as well, they're pretty much identical between the two trucks. Again, the only differences between the Talion and the Kraton is the hex adapters, dog bone CVDs, and the body and the wings. Other than that, they're pretty much one and the same. So what I'm going to show you guys today is how to remove the front end and the rear end on the Talion and on the Kraton. And I guess that's pretty much it for today. Then I'll go ahead and I'll do another video on how to crack open the front diff, rear diff, and the center diff, and we'll take it from there. So I'm going to pause this video, reposition the camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I did was I took the Kraton and I removed it from the bench, and I only have the Talion here. So the tools that you're going to need for this, in order to remove the rear end and the front end here, is a 2.5 hex driver, a 2.0 hex driver, and if you want to get all fancy and what have you and use your electric driver, you can also get the same 2.0 or 2.5 millimeter hex for the lack of better words, driver. I drew a blank there. So this is my first time doing this. I've never ever actually worked on a Kraton, so let's see from a new perspective to see how this all goes. So first we're going to take off is the rear end. Why the rear end and not the front? I don't know. It was just in front of me, so I just took that. So one of the things that I like to do is I don't like to go all nilly-willy into the screws with the electric driver. I like to first go with the simple driver and try to loosen it a bit, because I don't want to strip these. And then once I loosen them, then I go with the electric one and I'll just put them all out, because it's a lot easier and faster. So I'm going to go ahead here and try to loosen these up. Okay, that was fairly loose. This one too. This one as well. And this one as well. So now I'll set this to reverse and I'll start removing it. There goes one. There goes two. One of the things I like to check is sometimes in RCs, the size of the screws, they differ. Like one is longer in the front than in the rear, but seems to me that they're both the same size. See if I can get that in the camera there. Yeah, they're pretty much the same size. Place them there. Like that. And remove that one. So in essence, I should be able to remove the rear off from the chassis. So let's see. And we're almost there. There's one thing I forgot, and that is that the rear torque rod needs to be also cut loose from here. Oops, let me put this within the camera. So the rear torque rod here, I need to take this screw out in order for this to completely come out. So let's see what I need for this here. Here, this looks to be like a 2.5 as well. So yeah, it's a 2.5 hex there. So again, just like I did before, I'm going to loosen this up, and there you go. It's loosened up. Let's take this. Fairly long screw. Should be able to lift this up now, and there you go. So make sure that you don't lose these. These go on the sides here of the chimichanga here for the torque rod. So one goes there and the other one goes right here. So it uses two. So I'm going to put these aside here, and this nut screw here has a nylon lock on it. So that goes actually in here when you're unscrewing this. So I'm also going to put that aside, but I'm going to leave it in here just so that I don't lose it. So that's it for the rear. So let's remove the servo horn here. I'm actually going to leave these two here on and just remove them from the bottom. And of course this has a screw in the bottom. Go. see if I can. Okay, so this is completely out. Put that there, and just so that I don't lose it, I'm going to place the screw back onto, or the nut here to the screw, and that's done. So now I'm going to flip her over, and just as I did before, I'm going to loosen this up a bit with my hand. This is good. 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 This is good. You see, and this is the reason why I like to, oops, move the camera a bit there. This is the reason why I like to do this with a hand driver first, as opposed to a drill. And this is pretty tough in there. Let me see something. And if I were to guess, they put a lot of Loctite on this screw here, which is why it's so tight. Oh, there you go. It gave way, and now we can go ahead and engage the electric driver here. But you know what? I'm almost positively sure that these screws need to come out, but we'll play that by ear. Place that there, and there we go. That was exactly it. And place this down here, and voila, we have the chassis itself. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to bring the Kraton onto the bench, and we're going to lather, rinse, and repeat with the Kraton as well, so that we can do the swaparoo. Okay, so now we're back, and what we're going to do now is we're going to remove the rear end and the front end of the Kraton. So let's get cracking. So here for the rear, you're only going to remove these 4 screws, and once you get these 4 screws out, and you also see if I can place this here. If you also need to remove this screw right here for the rear torque rod, and it should pop out. So I'm going to remove that first. So like that, when I'm done with the rear end, it'll just come out easily. So, and there you go. So there's your rear end. And so here, if you're going to remove it, you're going to remove this screw here, which is for the front torque rod, and you're also going to, the servo horn, cut it loose, and then remove these, excuse me, 8 screws. So it's about like 10 screws you're going to remove. So you got 4 here, that's 8, then 11 and, I'm sorry, then 9 and 10. So here we go. And here we go. And just pull her out. There you go. She's all out. And now we're going to proceed here to the front and remove the 8 screws that we have here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just loosen this up. This just makes life so much easier and quicker, and wow, this is a godsend. You can pick one of these up at your local Home Depot, Lowe's, Home Improvement, or I don't know, whatever major hardware store that's around you. You can also get this on Amazon and what have you. So here's a Ryobi Tech 4. It has its own clutch and own flashlight there. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a 4-volt. No, let's see if you guys can see it. Yep, 4-volt. So now this should just come off. Bingo. That pretty much does it for the Kraton and the Talion. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here, and on the next video I'll show you how to mount it back together and also on the Kraton itself. So thank you.